Good morning, my friends. How are you today? Oh, I've got a little echo again. Let me see if I can fix that. So sorry about that once again. We're going to fix it and we'll take care of it in 1 second. There we go. Okay, so much better. I always forget to plug in those headphones, and the headphones are the secret to taking care of that echo. So, good morning, Helen. How are you today? Today is Monday, and on Mondays we have our Rotary Cut Applique group, and the Rotary Cut Applique group gets together every Monday. Um, and then we have on Tuesdays we have our ahead of the curve group, and the ahead of the curve group gets together on the second and fourth month Tuesdays, second and fourth Tuesdays. So we are looking at Penny and I are looking at consolidating that schedule, and we're going to be making some changes to the Facebook Lives. But for right now, we're still going to be on Mondays at 11. But we are looking forward to some changes in the near future because if um, if I'm going to do Facebook Lives on Mondays and Tuesdays, it just makes sense for me to consolidate those both onto the same day. So we're probably going to be changing our Monday session to a Tuesday session, but we're not ready for that just yet. And I would love to have your feedback on that before I make any changes. Now, a lot of the people that come live here on the Facebook session are our members, and it would be easier to do everything on Tuesday for our members so that it's not confusing. On the other hand, there are many of you that come and watch the replay. And I feel like watching the replay, it doesn't matter whether I meet on Mondays or Tuesdays. So that's my thought process is for the ahead of the curve members, it may make sense to consolidate everything into one day. So you would have the Facebook Live session every week, not just on the second and fourth. Of course, that would be for AOC members only. And then the other two sessions in the month would be for everyone. So that's my thought process right now. And AOC members, I have some really fun things that we're going to start with the Tuesday session. So I had a request to do some vessels and vases. So instead of like the critter series that we did this past year, where from time to time I threw in some of those critters that I wanted to make in our AOC sessions, we're going to be doing some of the vases and vessels. That way you can start designing your own blocks using those shapes. So that's what I've got in store. So for those of you that don't know, the AOC, the Ahead of the Curve, is our membership, and that's a paid membership for those people that want to improve their technical skills for using the Leaves Galore and the Hearts and More tools. And we're going to be introducing the Rings and Things tools into some of our workshops as well as an alternate size to the Hearts and More tools. So we're going to start that this week when we do our Blue Moons quilt. I'm going to be working on the measurements for that Blue Moons quilt, and we're going to incorporate the Rings and Things tools as well. So if you're here, it's because you love Rotary Cut Applique. If you're in our Ahead of the Curve group, it's because you want to practice those skills and master those skills so you can make applique quilts with the utmost confidence and start designing your own quilts. You can even get to the point where your quilts could be entered into competition or into your own local quilt shows because you have such confidence in your abilities. So that's my goal for all of you. And the education portion of that happens in the membership and here on the regular free Facebooks. The I don't mean free, I mean open to everybody. So it is free, but it's open to everyone. We're going to be doing just some introductions to Rotary Cut Applique. It's more meant for those people that are just getting started out and who want to discover what Rotary Cut Applique is all about and what it can accomplish. But then when you do really want to learn the techniques, that's really all about the workshops and or the membership. So good morning, everybody. Helen, you said it was 22 below last night. Oh my goodness. And my brother sent pictures from Texas where San Antonio got a couple of inches of snow and their temperatures were in the single digits overnight. It's just crazy, isn't it? So some real cold spells across the country. And actually here we're pretty comfortable. We're going to have rain this week instead of snow. So things got a little flip-flopped in the country this week. It's a little strange, isn't it? So good morning, Anita. Nice to see you. Hi, Betty. Good morning from Mississauga. Is that Elaine from Mississauga? Terrific. And Brenda's here. Good morning, Myrna. Nice to see you from Boise, Idaho. Okay. So today we're going to talk about the success path. How are we going to achieve our goals for applique? So everybody is going to have to set their own goals for applique. What is your goal for applique? Are you looking to make any quilt that you want to, anything at all that you look at in a magazine? You want to be able to reproduce those beautiful results, but in a faster, easier way. So that was my goal. When I started out with fusible applique, I wanted to be able to produce any quilt I wanted, but in an easier, faster way. Other people have the goal of just mastering those basic skills. They want to learn how to do the button stitch. They want to learn how to do some really basic patterns, nothing too complicated, just some, maybe the orange peel quilts, maybe a Drunkard's Path type of thing or a clamshell quilt. So maybe a more repetitious design that doesn't have 25 different shapes in it, but something like a heart quilt that just repeats that same shape over and over again. So a little simplistic, not simplistic, a little simplified version of an applique quilt. You know the difference between the Baltimore album quilts and your just basic little, basic simpler designs. And people have different goals of achieving those different designs. Not everybody wants to make a Baltimore album quilt. So the first step in the whole path to success is determining what success means to you. What is your goal? Now, some people's goal is finding that community and finding being surrounded by that group of other quilters that love doing what you love to do. And you're going to find the support, the camaraderie, and the affirmation that what you're doing is you're on the right path, you're doing a good job, you're asking questions and getting your questions answered. So that community is the goal for some people. Other people want to achieve a certain particular project. So some of my, I had, some of my Magical Garden members, for example, they've already built their skills. Now they're ready to challenge to challenge themselves to a more complex design. So they've joined my Magical Garden in order to further their skills or get up to that level of a competition quilt or a just a beautiful heirloom quilt for themselves. It's not all about competition, but that some people have that goal of competing. Other people have the goal of designing their own quilts. And some people have the goal of even teaching these skills down the line. So the first step in our success path is determining what success means to you. That might mean you just want to play with the tools and you're going to use the basic information that's already out there. So, one of the best places to start, if that is your goal, is just to use the information that's already available. One of the best places to start is with the books. So, the Rotary Cut Applique book for the Leaves Galore templates brings you through step by step in the process. Every step of the way that I teach in my workshops is in the books. The difference is you have to be self-motivated and you have to follow through the entire book. It's like a workbook. You're going to follow through the entire book step by step with practice along the way. And that's going to get you to a certain result with beautiful quilts. And these are the um, some more simple quilts that are in the book just to get you started, like the mint chocolate. Now, the mint chocolate's a big quilt, but it's a simple quilt, so that's a good place to start. But we do even have more complex quilts like this one on the cover. So you can reach different levels of skill just based on the material that's already out there. But if you're the type of person that needs the motivation and a little bit of more direction, a little more of that teacher student style, that's where the membership comes into play. That's where I feel that I shine is in the education part of things. So I love to educate, I love to teach, and that is my strong suit. That is my strength as a quilter is being that teacher. So I would love for you to take workshops with me and come into the membership. Now, all of these ladies that are commenting over here, we've got Doreen, we've got Myrna, Brenda. So many of our members are here, but I also see some people that are not on the membership. So Bee's here, and Bee says she's looking forward to tonight on Zoom. Bee, I'm going to look at my calendar because I don't have something on my schedule for tonight on Zoom. So let me double check that and see if we've got the right time and the right event. So Bee, what were you looking for on Zoom tonight? I'm going to check my calendar. Pat, we've got Pat from Washington. That's terrific. And good morning from a Facebook user who I'm not sure who you are. It might be Betty. She often, I'm sorry, not Betty. Yeah, it could be, no, Betty's here already. Anne, nice to see you, Angelette. Good morning from Tucson, Arizona. Oh, how nice is that? Love it. And is it cold in Tucson today? I know different areas of the country are experiencing some really weird patterns of weather right now. So I'm curious to know what it's like in Tucson, Arizona. All right, so B, I'm looking at my calendar. This is my 2021 calendar. You notice it's orange, just like my tools. Last year's calendar was also orange. It's funny how I look for orange now when I buy things. So tonight, uh, let me just look. I've got I don't have anything on my calendar for tonight, B. So I think what we're talking about is possibly the next week when we have our My Magical Garden party. So B, if you're talking about the garden party, that's going to be next time on the 22nd from looks like 4 to 5 for the garden party. So if that's what you're looking for, B, I'm looking for that forward to that too, but that's not tonight. I don't have anything on my calendar tonight. Okay, My Magical Garden, 3 to 5 next Monday. Thank you so much. Whoever said that calendar says February 22nd, go ahead and let me know who that is because I'm only seeing Facebook user right here. All right, so we want to talk about your goals and your motivation for reaching those goals. So what I love about the membership that so many of people on today are in the membership is that they've taken the initiative. They've seen an opportunity to master these skills that will get them to their goals. If that goal is learning introductory applique, if that goal is learning heirloom applique, all of these goals are achievable in the membership. It really depends on how long you stick with the membership, how much that you allow yourself to practice, and how much you're going to learn based on that practice and repetition. So it's the learning the techniques, then the practice, then the repetition of that practice, achieving your lower level goals, and then working your way up to those higher level goals that only comes with experience and with loads of practice. So the membership is that place to really enjoy that practice in a community, in a group with ladies that love to applique, and they're there to support you, to answer questions, and to help you reach your goals with that community support. So if that's what you're looking for, then the membership is definitely something you should consider. Then we also have pre-recorded courses for different skill levels as well. Those pre-recorded courses, the entry level course would be gradations, where if you took the 6-week gradations course, you're going to build your skills to that pretty much that introductory quilt level. And then if you want to really challenge yourself, if you've built up those skills and you really want to go for something more, then My Magical Garden and Belle en Rouge are two courses that are meant for those advanced quilters. Also, the membership gains uh, skills all the way up to a very high skill level because we keep introducing these wonderful quilters that have already gone through um, about 8 months of the program, 9 months of the program, and they're already up to a level where they're designing their own blocks, designing their own quilts, and you can work up to that level if you want to, and you decide how long it's going to take you to get to that level. You can repeat workshops. You can watch the technique videos for those specific techniques without making a quilt in a workshop. So that is what our success path brings you on a step by step. It's like climbing the rungs of that ladder. You don't want to skip any of those rungs to get to the top, or you're going to fall back down. So we're going to bring you to each step or each rung of that ladder until you reach that top. And that top, it depends on how far you want to climb. So you might be confident reaching that first level or that first floor. Other people want to climb the Empire State Building. They want to get all the way up to the top. So that's going to take longer and it's going to take more practice and more repetition. Okay. B, no worries about the date. Good, good, good. We'll mark it on your calendar and we will look forward to seeing you on the 22nd B. No worries. Excellent. The pre-recorded is so great, so handy to be able to watch multiple times. Thank you for that, Doreen. That's wonderful. I really appreciate your comment on being able to watch those videos over and over again. So in what Doreen is talking about is in the pre-recorded videos for My Magical Garden, Belle en Rouge, or Gradations. When you enter that course, you have that course forever, for as long as I'm in business. Where when I take my website down sometime in the future, I have no intention of doing that. So right now you have them indefinitely. So those pre-recorded videos you can go back to over and over and over again. So we found the benefit of that in pre-recorded courses, and we introduced that feature in the membership recently. So now in the membership, not only do you have access to the live classes if you're one of the first 30 to get into the live class, but you also have pre-recorded classes that we have run over the past 9, 10 months uploaded into the platinum level of membership. So you can watch any of those courses. Now our gold level members get 8 courses and our silver level members get 2 courses, those introductory courses to just get them started so they see what those courses are like and see if they want to increase their membership to the gold or platinum level where you have access to more of the pre-recorded videos and you still have access to the live online workshops as well. So I'm talking a lot about membership because we have a new membership drive coming at the end of this month. And we're going to have a little promotion going on at the end of the month. So I wanted to let even my current members know that there is going to be an opportunity to invite a friend to do a little trial period of the membership. And we're working right now on the computer background to get that trial membership up and running so that people can try out the membership for a week and see how it goes. Now, it's not ready yet, but be watching your inbox for when that happens. So if you want to invite a friend to try the membership with you, they will have the opportunity to do that. So I think that's a wonderful opportunity for friends because you can use those pre-recorded videos. You can take a class together by both getting ready for that class at the same time, taking that class and encouraging each other, communicating together when you do take the class together so that you can support each other through this process. And this is wonderful for those members that have already been here for a while to take somebody under their wing, maybe a daughter, maybe a niece, maybe a mother or a grandmother, and take them under your wing and introduce them to these applique techniques that you can do together to experience this success together. So we are going to be opening up membership with that trial membership for a week. probably next week. So be watching that inbox because as soon as it's ready in the website, once my web developer fixes or gets that prepared, then I'll be offering that to all new members to try out the membership before they jump right in. Um, okay, so today I wanted to just talk about that success path of how you're going to master these techniques. Now, if the membership is not right for you, that's not that. It is not that you don't have the opportunity to learn. You're just going to find a different avenue. So if you're not ready for the membership, you can learn on your own with the books, with the patterns, with the free online videos that are currently on my website. Those demonstration videos will give you some of the basic techniques so that you can take the time to learn on your own. So it's definitely an option. It's not that you would need to join a membership in order to learn. It's just one opportunity. If you work better surrounded by a supportive group of women, as I do, then the membership is a wonderful opportunity for that. Okay. All right. So over this past week, I had challenged my quilters to spend 21 minutes a day sewing for all of 2021. And I'm going to continue challenging our quilters to do that. Now, I have to tell you, um, this is not a competition. This is not, there's no reward for doing 21 minutes a day, but there is. The reward is all yours. The reward is all internal. The reward is the success that you gain from practicing whatever skill you're choosing for 21 minutes a day. The reward is in the finished project. Well, I have to tell you that um, I have kind of fallen off the boat here over the weekend. I did not get any sewing done on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I'm 3 days behind on my 21s. So does that add up to 63 minutes? 84 minutes if I include today's 21 minutes. So what will I do? Well, I can start with a clean slate and I can say, okay, I've learned my lesson. I missed out on 3 days. I missed out on a full hour of sewing because I didn't keep up the schedule. Or I can say, I'm going to make up for lost time and I'm going to set aside 2 hours today and at least get that 84 minutes, if not a little bit more. So this is definitely something that you have to be accountable to yourself. This is not a competition. I'm not going to keep track. I'm just challenging you to keep that in the back of your mind that 21 minutes a day is very doable. And what you gain from that, when I put it in my newsletter last week, was 113 hours of sewing in 2021 if you started now. Okay. If you started this week. So that is amazing, isn't it? How much you can get accomplished in just that 21 minutes a day. Ah, you stitch more than 21 minutes a day. Fantastic. And is that Amy? Okay. Um, yeah. Okay. So you're getting your 21 minutes a day indoor because you're working on three different projects: My Magical Garden, A Guild Mystery, and Hazel Hedgehog Quilt Class. Okay. So you're getting more than 21 minutes a day in, and that's fabulous. And most people that are here with me on Facebook during the day don't find that too challenging. But those people that watch the recording tonight or tomorrow, it's probably because they're working during the day, or they have young children home during the day, or they're just not able to take time during the day because they've got other things going on. And they might find it challenging to take 21 minutes a day, like I do, because I work for 8 to 10 hours a day. And then I try to get my personal sewing and my fun sewing in. So that's where I have a difficult time finding that 21 minutes and still fitting in my family and making meals and cleaning the house and spending time with my sweet husband. So all of those things fight for my attention. And the biggest thing is my job. It's coming here to you and providing new content and having fun together and teaching workshops and all of those things. And I love all of that, but I don't count that towards my 21 minutes of fun time. And there's so many people out there that are still working their full-time jobs. They have children at home. They have lots of other commitments. And 21 minutes can be hard for some. So how are we going to encourage ourselves to do this? Well, it's making that commitment to yourself. This is you time, and giving yourself some you time every day is a very, very important thing. All right. Yes, it is, Amy. 150 4.5 inch circles. Rings and things is your new best friend. Oh my gosh, that is for Amy. Let me put that up there. I'm going to show that comment, Amy. You needed 150 4.5 inch circles. Can you tell me what that was for, Amy? I'm really curious why you needed 150 4.5 inch fused circles. Were they, were they fused circles? Or were they circles that you're going to sew into something else? Are they yo-yos? Tell me what this project is that needed 150 4.5 inch circles. Yes, rings and things. The reason why I created them is because I needed bigger circles and I needed those in between sizes. I had a lot of full sizes, but I needed some half sizes. So I'm so glad that rings and things worked for you for that project. All right. So that 21 minutes a day is a little gift to yourself. When you get everything else done and you give yourself permission to sit down and give you some you time. And what I like to do is I like to make that time fill two purposes. So, what do you do when you sew? I would love to have your comments. What do you do when you sew? Do you just sew? Do you listen to books on tape? I call them books on tape. I'm talking audio books on your phone, the old fashioned books on tape or CDs that we used to listen to. So, do you listen to books? Do you have television going on in the background? I just finished Bridgerton. Did anybody watch it? It was really good. I just finished the first season of Bridgerton, but I didn't sew while I did that. I sat myself on the couch and watched television, and that's why I didn't get my sewing done. So I have a TV way up here in the corner, and I like to actually put the TV on in the background while I'm sewing. But I rearranged my sewing room. And now my sewing machine's over here and I'm facing the wall instead of facing the television. So I have to rethink that and maybe put that television in a different place. I also sometimes set up my iPad and I'll watch Netflix and I'll put the iPad right next to my sewing machine. So I'd like to know what you do when you're sewing. Do you do dual purpose? Are you splitting your attention between sewing and something else? Are you listening to music? Are you spending that time meditation or prayer? I think that's a fabulous way to use your time sewing, especially if you're only getting 21 minutes. It's not good for a television program. Um, Even the book on tape, sometimes I get so involved in the book that, hey, my 21 minutes turns into 42 or 63. So, but I think spending that time in quiet contemplation, in prayer, or in meditation, and I find that needle going up and down on the buttonhole stitching is very, very meditative. So, especially when I'm doing either buttonhole stitching or machine quilting, I find that very, very meditative and even prayerful. It's conducive to prayer or meditation when you're doing those repetitive motions. So I'd love to hear from you. Carol, you listen to podcasts. Doreen, you listen to music. You watch the birds outside and you find like your cat over your chair. That's so cute. Doreen, you listen, I'm sorry, Facebook user, that must be Amy. You listen to 2 to 3 books per week. Okay, that's terrific. And Amy says her mom and Amy and her mom are doing a yo-yo quilt. You have been working on it for over 20 years together. Oh my goodness. Amy, I did a yo-yo bed runner, so just at the bottom of the bed, or it could be a table runner. I did that for my second book, for a sample in my second book, and I actually finished it for the book, but it's a small piece. And it took me quite a while. Wonderful sit in front of the television work. So if you want to do some 21 minutes of hand sewing, those yo-yos are a great hand sewing project that you can sit in front of the television and do. You evaluate wine while sewing. I love it. That is so adorable. Yes, I have had some wine evaluations during sewing as well. That's very sweet. Um, okay, so I love to use my sewing and double up that time by multitasking. And most of the time, multitasking is a very bad thing to do. If you're not concentrating, you're not doing your best job possible. However, that's not true with buttonhole stitching. That's not true even with machine quilting. The music in the background, the book on tape in the background, relaxes you, gets the tension out of your shoulders. It has you moving to a rhythm, and it's actually a really good thing to do while you're machine quilting and buttonhole stitching. So listening to music and listening to podcasts and things like that is wonderful. Um, the other thing is that meditation time or the prayer time. Um, Building yourself emotionally and spiritually is such a added bonus of having that time to work on your projects, isn't it? So I just wanted to talk for just 1 minute about comparing and competition. I mentioned competition a couple of times today, and that was in light of entering quilts into a competition. But nothing we do here at Sue Cullen Designs is a competition, except for we do have some contests where we have some prizes to give away. And if you enter a contest, it's a sort of a competition, right? But it's not competition as far as competing my work against yours. Your work is your own satisfaction, your level of skill, and your level of tolerance for imperfection or for perfection is your own personal decision. So we don't do competitions here in that sense where we're competing against other people. I want this to be a supportive environment where everybody supports each other and stop competing with each other. But what gets competitive sometimes in our mind is when we look at something like Facebook and we're seeing all these gorgeous pictures being posted of people's progress on projects. Ooh, that was a lot of peace. So people's project progress gets posted on Facebook, and sometimes that competition or that what I call inspiration, sometimes that can be discouraging to people, especially on something like My Magical Garden, where you're seeing all different skill levels and people who started My Magical Garden 3 years ago and didn't finish, or finished and like Amy, you're making a second My Magical Garden quilt. Well, people compare themselves on Facebook and then feel inadequate or they feel like they're not doing a good job. Well, that's the type of competition that I want to talk about. I think a lot of times, especially on social media, we are seeing the best of everybody's life and we're comparing that. So it's not so much competition as comparison. We're comparing people's highlight reels, people's spotlight on themselves when they do something beautiful, to maybe our so-so day where we didn't get our 21 minutes a day. Maybe we didn't even get showered and dressed that day or get our makeup on. And sometimes we're comparing ourselves to our everyday life to somebody else's highlight reel that they're showing on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, etc. So that's the type of competition or comparison that I wanted to talk about today because I know that that can be very discouraging. So I love this group because we are here to encourage each other. We're here to boost each other up, to celebrate those wins. So today, here on the Facebook group, I put a new little sidebar up about what types of questions people, I'm sorry, what types of posts people should be thinking about posting. Those posts are things like your wins, things that you completed, things that you were challenged about, and then you figured it out, and you want to post that win so that you can show that you figured it out, something that you struggled with. It's maybe an aha moment. Oh my gosh, I finally get how to cut S-shaped curves, right? It's those aha moments that we each have. And because this community is all working on similar goals of learning this rotary cut applique process, the people that have come before you that had their aha moments, they're going to be right there to support you when you have that moment where you figure it out, you get it, and you have your wins. So I did put up something on the sidebar about what are good posts for this group and what you should be posting. And then I also mentioned that customer service is really something that I don't think is best posted here on Facebook. If you have a customer service question, you've run out of fabric in the kit, or you have a question about instructions in a particular pattern, or um, or you have a problem with a delivery or something like that, that's best handled through our customer service and not here on Facebook, where that can be discouraging for people as well to hear somebody else's negativity about a particular problem before they reached out to get that problem corrected. So it doesn't happen often, but I just wanted to mention that that's in the sidebar. It talks a little bit about customer service. And I just wanted to point that out. If you do have a customer service question, you're so much better. Um, the service is so much better when you send an email about a customer service issue because I miss some posts on Facebook because I know that our community is answering questions and bring, cheering people on and interacting in the group. So I don't always have my customer service people like Penny and Donna checking Facebook to handle those customer service issues. So an email for those are absolutely the best way to get those resolved quickly so that we can deal with it right away and then you eliminate the frustration of having an issue. Oh, your name is showing now. You get permission again. Laura, okay. You like to listen to books and test wine. Okay, funny, funny, funny. Um, Laura, I just want to share this story. One time I was at a quilt show and Laura had come and taken a class with me at one point and made a beautiful quilt. I think it was Christmas ribbons. Re- Remind me if I'm wrong, Laura. And Laura came to a quilt show and brought me a beautiful bottle of wine, red wine that she made herself. And she put the quilt on the label of the wine and presented that to me as a gift. And Laura, I love that. That was so sweet of you. And I just appreciated the wine so much, the handmade wine, homemade wine, and that beautiful label that she made. Wow, that was such a, it was Christmas ribbons. That was such a thoughtful and sweet gift. And I'll never forget Laura for that. Okay, well, I didn't plan to do any cutting today, but wanted to, um, I wanted to find my the critters, and I left them out in the other room. So just give me 1 second. Oh, let me take Amy's comment out there. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, it's so far back. I have to go back. There it is. Okay. So Doreen, I love this one. She listens to wine. She watches the birds. She fights with her cat over the chair. Too funny. All right. So I did want to talk about the critter series for just a minute because we're opening up membership again, or membership is always open, but because we're going to offer that free trial period and we're going to add that little incentive for getting into the membership, if you join the membership after the trial period to stick with the membership, those new members are going to get the critter series. So yes, I do demonstrations here and I figure it out with you how to make these critters. But then I go back and I edit out those videos so that we don't have this big long talk at the beginning. We get right to the point of making the critters. And so that condensed series, critter series, it's the same videos that are here. You could watch the videos here, but you're going to have all the talk, the chit chat that goes along with it. I like to condense those videos to just what you need to know and watch me figure it out. So they are not patterns. They are not lessons. They are the videos where we figured it out together so that you could go and figure it out on your own. So we've done all these different critters now, and the only one that I've added are the butterfly. And the butterfly I did in this week's lesson on the membership. So the membership has a technique video twice a month. And this time we did the lemon shaped leaves and the butterfly. And then while I was making those lemon-shaped leaves, I said, "Oh my goodness, that lemon shape to me looks like a crab." So do you see my lemon shape right here is the body of that crab. So I want to let you know that I have not done a critter series on the crab yet. So I will record this and I'll get it up into the critter series. So I just wanted to figure this out with you today. So let's send, I usually go until about 12 o'clock. So I've got about 20 minutes and I want to do this little critter with you so that I have the recording that I can then edit down and add to the membership area. All right, so let's tackle this blue crab together and let's figure it out. So I'm going to spotlight my workstation. I'm going to, let's see how I do this. I think if I remove me and then I spotlight that, then if I go in and add this one, good, then I'm just that little sidebar. But you know what? I think all we need is the workstation. Good, because you don't need to see me. You're going to see the side of me or the back of me if I put that video on from the front of the computer. So that little critter is the blue crab. And I was inspired to make the blue crab because of that lemon shape. So I'll go very quickly through and cut some lemon shapes. And it also requires some 3-inch leaves. I can grab my template and just make sure that those are 3-inch leaves. Nope, they're not. They are 2.5-inch leaves. So this is how, oops, that's a 2.5, sorry, that's a 3-inch template as well. This is how I see what size I cut those leaves with. I just lay the template right over the leaf and see what size it is. And then we've got this little leaf off to the side, and it's not a leaf at all, it's his claw, right? So those leaf shapes become his claw. And then we have these 2 joints. And I've eaten a lot of crab in my day. I know that the shape of those little joints or those little arm sections, and the leaves didn't work for that. So I had to modify those leaves in order to become his little sections here. And then we've got the little feet to come off the side. So let's tackle the crab together and let's see what size that lemon-shaped leaf is. And once again, we can put the tool right over the edge of the curve to see if it's the right curve. Is it the right curve? No. This is the right curve, the 3-inch curve. So when I figure it out, I take a photograph or I take a sample and I use my curves to figure out what curve is going to work. So let's go ahead and make this lemon-shaped leaf. And I don't need a whole bunch of them. I need 1 lemon-shaped leaf. So that's interesting, isn't it? Normally, I make a whole series of lemon-shaped leaves, but what happens when you just want 1? So the secret to just making 1 leaf is to cut your fabric the right size. So when I need just 1 leaf, I only need 6 inches of fabric. And what's the width of that fabric? Well, I'm not quite sure, but I'm going to cut my 6 inches this way. And yeah, let's just get the 6 inches cut this way, and then we'll figure it out how wide that lemon is going to be. So I've got my 6 inches cut, and I'm going to center the 3-inch curve on that 6 inches. And what that means is I'm going to put A here on the bottom, and I'm going to put A here on the top, because that's centering this A right here in the middle. So I'm just going to cut one side like this. And then I'm either going to spin that fabric around, or I can just move my tool up so that the peaks and the valleys are matching. The A is in the middle. The A is on the end of the fabric. The A is on the end of the fabric. And there's an A here in the middle as well. But instead of being an outside A, now it's an inside A there at the middle. So if you don't have any clue what I'm talking about with these A's and inside curves and outside curves, there is a technique video in the membership on lemon-shaped leaves today. So it's been uploaded last week, but you have access to it if you are in the membership. Okay, so there is my lemon-shaped leaf, and that's what I used for the body of my blue crab. Now, after you cook your crabs and lobsters, they can turn red, right? So I could have made a red crab, but we today are going to make this little blue crab using this fabric right here. Now, I do have some other fabric, and it's nice to use some different colors in that blue crab. So let's go ahead and cut some leaves. And we determined that the 2.5-inch leaves were the right size for those little claws. But I don't need a whole lot of leaves, so I'm just going to go with one fabric. I'm just going to keep one fabric on my board. You know that I can cut 4 layers at a time, but I don't need all of those pieces. I just need 4 little leaves for his for that little crab's claws. So I've got the 4 right here. I need 2 full-size ones, and I need 2 smaller ones for the bottom of his claw. All right, I just want to check and make sure that we have audio. Can you hear me? Yep. All right, good. You also like to evaluate wine during sewing. Good, good, good. Doreen, Sue, could you say where you got the magnifying light that you used? You've looked at a few, and it's tough determining what is best. Yeah, I'm going to recommend that you go on to Laura Koya. So very easy. Laura Koya did a review of the different lights, and the one that I currently have is no longer available. At one point, I was doing special orders on those, but it looks like to me from my suppliers, they're no longer available. Mine is a daylight mag light. It's called a mag light, and mine is 7 inches. And I don't know the magnification on the magnification part of it, but it is beautiful. I just love it. But that exact one is no longer available. So you're going to be able to watch Laura Koya's demo, and she has a couple that she recommends. I love mine because it clamps onto the table, and her best recommendation was something that had a stand on the floor. So you could put that behind your machine, and it was still on those arms, so you can move it around. So anyway, Laura Koya, I would recommend her. So very easy. If you search for her, and then in her YouTube video, it is a YouTube video. In the YouTube video, you can watch her recommending different lights that she tried out. So I'm going to recommend her because the one that I have is no longer available. All right, so I'm trying to make the inside of his claw, the pinchy part of his claw. We've got one big one and we need one small one. So I'm going to, the big one is going to be the 2.5-inch leaf. I've already got that done. The small one, I'm going to take a different color 2.5-inch leaf, and I'm going to trim it down with my Hearts and More tool. I'm going to use template B. And if we put it right over the shape, we can see that it's from 40 to, or okay, if I twist it this way, it's from 50 to 50 on my tool. So if I put the 50 and the 50 on that 2.5-inch leaf and trim, I'm going to get that smaller piece of the claw. Now, it's not a symmetrical leaf, and that's what I love about this shape. It's not a symmetrical leaf. It's got a much deeper curve here because I used the smaller Hearts and More, and it's got a more graceful curve here. So what I love about this demonstration is that you know that your leaves do not always have to be symmetrical. You can alter the shapes of your leaves, and that gives you a fun opportunity to get different leaf shapes that you can use for leaves, for flower petals. But in this case, we're using them for his claws. So there we go. We've got our 2 claws. We've got the body of the little crabby guy. Now, I use this piece this leftover piece when I had made something else from this piece, and I cut away a leaf. So I have a 2-color crab. I think this time I'm just going to make a 1-color crab. So I'm not going to make this small piece here. If I did, it's just a 2.5-inch leaf. So you can absolutely cut a piece out of this and replace it with a 2.5-inch leaf, or just layer this 2.5-inch leaf on top. But I'm not going to do that. Now let's go ahead and make the little claws. So the little claws are interesting. The base of the claw, so the arm, sorry, the claw is here, and then he has his arm that holds up his claw. I'm going to need a couple more of the leaf shapes. So let's go ahead and cut some more out of this blue fabric. And you can certainly use partial leaf shapes for those claw bits. But I need a few more. I don't have any more partial leaf shapes. So let's go ahead and cut some with the tool. So I've got this edge that I've already cut. And if I look at it, it is a 2.5-inch edge. That's what I use to cut my my lemon shaped leaf from right here. Okay, so this is a leftover piece from cutting the lemon shaped leaf. If I lay the edge of the tool, the dash line on the tool right over the line that I've just cut, I've got those partial leaves from the ends. And those partial leaves are exactly what I need to make the arms for his claws. So I'm going to stack up 2 of those. And I'm going to recut that with my tiniest curve. So let's go ahead with that small hearts and more, template A. And I'm just going to take this point, and at the point where it becomes 1 inch wide, place template A. So the 90 and the 90 are on the fold. Now I really should do this with my rotating mat, but I'm working on a flat mat here. So I'm just going to carefully go around that 1 inch curve, and that makes the base of his little arm coming off his body. So there's one joint of his little crabby claws, but we need a second joint. So let's go ahead and use the other color here. And I'm going to put those 2 together. And this time I really didn't want another pointy piece. I just wanted that round piece. So I'm going to go up here again, and I'm going to use the 1 inch tool to cut that leaf shape this way. And then I'm going to turn it around. Now that's a beautiful flower petal, isn't it? It has a point on one end and a round side on the other end. And that's a beautiful way to make flower petals. In fact, that's how I made the flower petals in Enough Love to Go Around, which is a quilt in my second book. So those are the types of flower petals I used in that quilt. Now the 1 inch circle is so hard to cut with the even with the 28 millimeter rotary cutter. It's really hard. Now you could go down to an 18 millimeter rotary cutter, or I'm just going to cut it several times until it looks nice and smooth. You can certainly mark that with scissors. Mark that with your chalk and cut with scissors. So what I really need for that part is just this little oval. So I've cut one end here with the tool, and I don't want it round. So I'm going to actually slide over from that initial cut. I'm going to give it some length, and then I'm going to cut another round piece. So I don't put the circle line on the edge that I've just cut. I just slide it over a bit, and that's going to make it more oval shaped instead of perfectly round. Now that seems a lot bigger than what I had done initially. Oh, you know what? I really had done another one of these little points and rounded that. But let's see what this one looks like. It might be just too big. Yeah, it's just too big. So I actually don't love this oval like I thought I was going to. So I'm going to modify it. So I don't love that oval. So I'm going to take the 2.5 inch curve, and I'm going to squeeze it down. I'm going to make it smaller by using the 2.5 inch curve and just tapering it in a little bit. And that is going to be a better shape for his little arm. Now, if it's not round enough, you can go back in with that 1 inch curve and round it off a little bit more. Now, I know I didn't go to these types of lengths to make this one over here. I had actually just taken a curve like this, or a point like this, a much smaller point than the first one, just a little tiny one. and just rounded that one off like this. So that is a much more straightforward way to do this. It's the similar one to this, but instead of going to the 1 inch mark where it's 1 inch across, you're going to go closer to this tip, and then you're just getting a little rounded end, and that's how you make that second part of the claw. So I didn't do it that way this time, but I'm going to do it again. Let's take this leaf that's extra, cut it in half, stack those halves up together, and go ahead and round that end with that 1 inch curve. That's going to be a much prettier, and it's duplicated because I put the two together. So it's easier to do two together to make them look the same than trying to figure it out 2 separate times. So there we go. We've got his claws coming up off of his arms. Now, what's really fun is these arms are articulated, right? They can move. You can move them around and put these at different angles. So his claws can go in different directions depending on what you want your little crabby to be doing or what you want him to look like. Now, if I had some seaweed behind there, maybe he's grabbing onto the seaweed. So that would be really fun to play with these articulated arms. You can make them move anywhere. Now, we do need some little legs. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab some fabric. And I like to start with a straight edge for his little legs. So there is a straight edge right here on my fabric. And I'm just going to scoop that out with my bigger side of the small curve. So my bigger side of the small hearts and more. And I'm just going to scoop out from that straight line. And I could measure that, but I know approximately the size that I want these 2 little scoops for his leg. So these are his legs. It's straight. The curve is on the upper part, and then I turn to articulate his legs as well. And then it's going to curve that way. So 2 straight edges, 2 curved edges. So here's another straight spot. Let's go ahead and cut it. So we're going to do a curved edge on a straight edge, another curved edge on a straight edge about the same size. I'm not measuring this. I'm just guessing, because we can just guess the length of those legs, and then it's not cookie cutter. They're all unique and different. So there are 2 legs. I would make 4. I would make 2 on each side. So I don't have any more straight fabric, but guess what? We do have straight fabric on this other color, and I think it's better to have 2 different colors. So let's scoop this one out. And again. And one more time. 2 more times, sorry, 1 more and 1 more. So 1 more time, meaning 1 more full leg. All right, there we go. Now these, I've got some that are big, I've got some that are small. Let's put this one here, and then a bigger one here. We're going to do a small one here, and then a slightly bigger one. Maybe that should go the other way. The bigger one should be closer to his body, and then it gets smaller as it goes out. That makes more sense. Bigger one closer to his body, smaller one as you go out. So there you have it. That is my little crabby guy. Now he needs some eyes, and I think a lighter color fabric would be better for eyes. I don't have a bit of light color fabric that is within reach. Let me just look under the table here where I do have this little gray fabric that would be great for his eyes. So I always keep my fused fabric in a little bin under my table. Look, there's all kinds of little bits and pieces cut out of it. I need some tiny little eyes. So let me just take a little section of fabric. And the eyes I'm going to cut with my scissors. They're so small. You don't need anything big for his eyes. And I'm going to try to find 2 dots that match so that I can kind of cut, you know what, let's just cut the light color over here. I'm not even going to use the dots at all. I'm just going to use the gray fabric and try to cut around those dots, although the dots might be kind of fun to do the pupils in his eyes. But let's see what I can do here. I'm trying to get between the dots, but I'm making my eyes a little bit too big to go between the dots. So let's see what I can do. All right, so there's one. Let's try another one between the dots. And I'm just going to catch the edge of this purple dot because the other one I had caught the edge of a purple dot. This is a really good place to use your tweezers. I don't have my tweezers within arm's reach here, but it's a good place to use your tweezers to twist around this little circle. And I didn't make a very pretty circle, but you get the idea. Now, I like that little dot where it looks like he's got a little eyeball there, and I've got another one here. So that's kind of funny. I don't know if I like it or not, but let's put them up so he's looking out in a way, and then put them in closer to each other. And there you go. There's my little crab. So sweet, so adorable, so much fun. Not sure I like the eye color, but anyway, you get the idea of how to make that little critter. So when we have the Hearts and More and the Leaves Galore tools, and we are just playing with those shapes, it is just amazing how you can come up with all of these different design elements for your quilts. Uh, so cute, isn't it, Betty? Thank you. I love it too. So that is our session for today. We have created one more critter for our critter series, and I'm going to add that to membership. So I'll take some time to edit it. It won't be up there right away, but I'll eventually get that up on the membership. And then when our new members come on, their bonus will be having those critter series. And um, next time, I will not be here next Monday because that's not true. I will be here next Monday. It's the following Monday. I won't be here because I'm going to visit my parents in Texas. But the next time I'm here with you, I want to remember, I'm going to write it down in my date book, that I want to talk about taking one of those critters and making that into a quilt by itself. Just taking one critter and repeating it and making those into quilts. So I want to show you some examples of those digital quilts. I didn't make them in person. I didn't make real quilts, but I'm able to duplicate those patterns and show how you can put that into a quilt that's a repetitive design, and they are awfully cute. I've been playing around with all of my critters. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming. I'm glad that you are here. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm glad you loved the crowd. It was fun for me. And I hope that the words of inspiration and that message about not comparing yourself to others, setting your own personal goals, and setting a path to reach those goals. I hope that's meaningful to you. I hope you enjoyed that little pep talk this morning, and I hope that you found something in there that was meaningful to you, that will help you to either stick to your 21 minutes a day or to just have a more positive attitude when you don't stick to your 21 minutes a day. And as long as you persevere and you keep learning and you keep growing, that is the name of the game. So I'm here to help you learn, grow, and succeed at Fusible Applique. It's been so much fun spending my morning here with you. Time for me to get to work. And just be aware that we are going to make some changes to this Monday schedule, and be looking for those changes in my newsletter. So nice to see all of you here today. Have a wonderful day. And think about that challenge. Are you going to take up my challenge of sewing 21 minutes a day in 2021? Take care, everybody. Have a lovely day.